All right. Hi, everyone. Let's get things kicked off here. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for the Intuit Insider Look Series. Today, we're going to be talking about the day in the life of a remote tax professional. My name is Thomas, and I will be your moderator for today. So first, just a few housekeeping items before we get started. Like everyone to see that on the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q&A box. Please feel free to add any questions that may come up into that area. We have a full team of professionals behind the scenes that will be answering questions live in the Q&A box during our webinar today. We'll do our best to make sure we cover all information you might have questions about. So if you don't, or if you do have a general question, just note it will likely be answered during the webinar today. However, if we are nearing the end of the presentation and you still have not heard about your question or an answer to your question, go ahead and ask away. Please be rest assured that in case you do miss anything, we'll be following up with the live webinar recording after today's call. You'll also notice a QR code down here in the bottom corner. At any point during our presentation, you can feel free to scan the code and apply to be a TurboTax Live professional if you are in fact interested. We've also just dropped the link to apply in the chat as well. With that, we will begin. So I'm going to say here, before we get started, we are going to cover a lot of information. We want all of you to feel good about understanding Intuit, TurboTax Live, the role, of course, making sure you have a firm grounding as to what you can expect when you apply. So stay with us and ask questions as they do come up. This information will really help you get the full scope and background you need in order to be 100% certain when applying for a role with us here. Here is the agenda today. First, we're going to introduce our panelists so you can get an idea of who you'll be hearing from. We'll talk about Intuit, who we are as a company, as well as our mission. We'll talk about TurboTax Live and why this is an organization you'd want to be a part of. And you'll get to hear from an actual real-life TurboTax Live expert, somebody who was once in your shoes and thought this job could be a really good fit for them. They applied, went through the application process themselves, and have now turned this into a career. So you'll be hearing from Heather today, who will be talking to you about her journey. Finally, you'll also hear from a TurboTax Live recruiter who will talk to you about what it takes to apply and become a part of our team. You'll hear from Imani, who will discuss the types of positions we are hiring for, the step-by-step process you'll follow from recruitment to onboarding, and some helpful tips to follow for conducting a successful interview. You'll also hear how you can get ahead of the game and have your application stand out from the crowd by taking supplementary free online tax courses from our own Intuit Academy. With any time we do have left at the end, we'll be sure to answer questions and ensure that you have all the information you need in order to get yourself on our incredible tax team of experts here. All right, so here are the three of us who will be talking to you today. You'll be hearing from Heather Beal. I told you that you'll be hearing from a TurboTax Live expert who was once in your shoes and made the jump from, to working at Intuit. Heather is an enrolled agent with her own practice, currently located in Florida. She's got her bachelor's degree in accounting from Champlain College in Burlington, Vermont. She's going into her 22nd year of tax preparation experience and has been at TurboTax for over 6 seasons now. Here at Intuit, she started as a tax expert, working evenings, was then promoted to interview team and lead for 2 seasons, and then offered her current role as a full-time manager in 2019, where she now leads teams. So Heather will talk to you about her career journey, and she'll be a really great resource here for you. You're also going to hear from one of my peers, Imani Love Parker, who was a recruiter on the TurboTax Live team. I should say who is a recruiter on the TurboTax Live team in her 10th season here. She started in the candidate liaison role and was promoted to a recruiter then lead role before recently joining Intuit here full time. She'll make sure you leave us today knowing the positions that are available to you, the qualifications for each role, and the recruitment process that you will go through. And then there's me, myself here. I'm Thomas, and I'm your MC for today. I have over 10 years of recruiting experience and have been into it just under a year. And I now recruit for our Connecting People to Experts teams, which is where TurboTax falls. I'm a proud dog parent. You might hear them bark at any point in the background just to say hello while I present. So please forgive me if that does happen. I'll be walking you through everything you need to know about Intuit, our mission, our people, and exactly why this is a great job opportunity. All right, who's Intuit and what is our mission? Talk about who we are. Intuit's journey began over 35 years ago when our founder, Scott Cook, sat at his kitchen table and watched his wife as she struggled to balance her checkbook. He thought there's got to be a better way to do this accounting. And Intuit is the culmination of that small idea, the concept of making everyday finance easier, which has evolved into a global technology giant in the financial services industry today. Well, Intuit's mission is not a destination, it is a journey. And we continue to grow and thrive, embracing emerging technologies and finding new ways to serve our customers, those small businesses, and the self-employed. Today, we have 4 key products in our portfolio, those being TurboTax Live, QuickBooks Live, Credit Karma, and MailChimp. We're still driven every day by the same core vision that founded this company, that there must be a better way. TurboTax Live, which is the product you're all here for today, is our largest and most well-known brand out there. In the US and Canada, TurboTax Live is by far the #1 do-it-yourself tax tool that's out here. All of you on this call are here today because of the fact that you have an interest in taxes, accounting, and are interested in becoming tax experts. The reality is, if you're not doing someone's taxes and they're doing it themselves, they're likely using TurboTax to do it. So here at Intuit, we have over 50 million individual tax filers across the US alone who use TurboTax to do their taxes. TurboTax really is the leader in this space. All right, so Intuit's mission is powering prosperity around the world. This means with our consumers and with our customers, who could be anyone from your individual tax filer to a consumer who uses Mint, or a small business owner looking to make sure they can manage their business financials. In any of these cases, it's our goal that you are powering your own prosperity, that you're putting away more money in your pocket, and that you're making sure you can use money as a tool to grow your own personal wealth and life in a way that ensures you're not living paycheck to paycheck, but rather you know where your money is and how it's growing. Powering prosperity around the world is everything from making sure our consumers are getting the biggest possible tax returns to making sure small business owners globally are able to get the money they need to make their business a success. Each one of our 4 products is created with this mission in mind, helping people to power their own prosperity. All right, so why work for Intuit? Let's jump into a little bit more about us here. I'll let you know, Intuit is one of the top companies to work at, and you don't have to, just take that from me here. We actually have a few reasons why we're a top company to work at, and there's a few distinguished organizations listed here that have listed us as a top place to work. Just this year, Fortune magazine ranked us at number 11 on their 100 best companies to work for in the US. Over 7,500 companies are surveyed on the best place to work index for Fortune's 500 best. And out of those 7,500, we ranked number 11. It has to do with a lot of things. It's how we treat our employees, how our employees are evaluated, how they're paid, and the ability to make sure that each employee has a successful career here in terms of job growth and recognition. There are many ways here in which Intuit walks the walk and doesn't just talk the talk. Here's a fun fact. We've been on this list for more than 20 years and almost exclusively in the top 20 best places to work. People magazine calls Intuit the company that cares. What they mean by that is that we're a company who cares about our customers, about our employees, our communities, and our environment. We've continued to be on this list year after year. Forbes lists Intuit as America's best employers for diversity. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are not just buzzwords here for us. We've had a chief diversity, equity, and inclusion officer for years, and it's core to who we are. This truly runs deeply throughout our organization, and we focus a great deal on equitability, the fact that every employee has the opportunity to be successful in their career. We've also been listed by Glassdoor's Best Places to Work, Employees' Choice. And I've already talked about how TurboTax Live is the #1 tax provider with over 50 million unique taxpayers filing tax returns each year. But let me tell you why we're also asking you to be here. We're asking you to work here as experts because of the fact that we have this giant virtual network of tax professionals like yourselves who are out there to help those 50 million taxpayers file their taxes. Most consumers who are filing their taxes don't have your knowledge or expertise, any level of it. They have a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt when it comes to filing their taxes. And they're worried they might get audited, or worried they're not getting the biggest possible return for themselves. The tax refund check really matters to people, and everyone is always concerned that they're getting the right amount of money back. It's exactly why we need our remote tax professionals to come in and help reduce some of that fear, uncertainty, and doubt when it comes to filing their taxes successfully here. So we're looking for people like you who know taxes and are professionals in this area to come in and talk live on camera with our customers, walk them through their returns, and either help them prepare their taxes or in some cases actually do their taxes for them. It's a great opportunity to connect with people from all 50 states and be able to really support and help them with their tax filing needs and reduce some of that fear. A lot of impact here. So why TurboTax Live? Next slide, please. All right, why TurboTax Live? Let's dive into that. I want you to know we are Intuit's #2 big bet. And what does that mean, you ask? So key leaders across our organization chose 5 big bets or 5 big items that Intuit as an organization is going to focus on to make sure we grow as a company. And out of those top 5, this job is #2 of the top. And Intuit's investing a lot in this team in order for it to continue to grow. So you'll see that TurboTax Live really is a meaningful contributor to the business, and this role has been developed due to the large opportunity that exists within it. Specifically, in context of assisted tax preparation market, the opportunity stands at $20 billion. And to support a market that is growing rapidly, we don't just need AI or artificial intelligence and machine learning, but we also need expert talent and advisors like yourselves who can provide a more streamlined service and advice and add more value to our overall product. Big bet #2 is a huge deal here and is a great opportunity for you as the tax expert to come work with us at Intuit and help those who are trying to file their taxes using TurboTax. You're on this call because you know taxes, and this role is a great opportunity for you to use your knowledge to really help these 50 million people who are filing their taxes with us every year. All right, so TurboTax. TurboTax gives you the opportunity to work remotely, which is the new normal. We've been doing this for a long time, so it's not something new we just implemented because of COVID. In fact, we launched work from home services with our customers over a decade ago. And by now, we're thinking we've perfected it, but there's still more we're always working on trying to get better with. That gives you an opportunity, though, to work from home and do it with a company who's doing it right. You'll work remotely, I should say, from your home or your home office, and you'll be able to select a schedule that best works for you with our scheduling model. During the tax season, we offer work schedules on a first come, first served basis around our operating hours. Our normal operating hours are 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. And then, of course, in season, we do have extended seasonal hours 7 days a week from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time, or 8 a.m. Eastern to 2 midnight Eastern time. It normally starts mid-January through April. You must be able to commit to a minimum schedule of 20 hours per week, minimum in 4-hour blocks, and that would be throughout the tax season. So I'll talk to you about the 3 major areas where we see our tax experts coming from who work here Intuit and do the job well. First area, there's those of you potentially in pre-retirement or that are in pre-retirement, or those who are fully retired. And maybe you've run your own business for many years in the past, but you don't want to be your own boss anymore with all the responsibility that comes with running your own business. You're still an expert in this space. So why not sign up for a job where you can work remote, choose your schedule, and make extra money during tax season? Quite a few individuals in this first bucket. Second area, experts that come in with a full-time job already who want to make extra money outside their full-time job during tax season to make as much money as possible during the year. It is a great opportunity for you. We offer time slots, again, 7 days a week, and you can select times that work best for your schedule. And then there's the third area, and it's those that have been in the business for just a little bit, 3 to 4 years potentially, but you want to learn as much as you can about taxes. So you come to this job in order to broaden your knowledge and expertise. The reality is it doesn't matter how long you've been working in taxes. Even those who have worked in the tax industry for 40 plus years still learn something new working for TurboTax Live. And the reason why that is because you're going to talk to people from all over. Everyone a bit different. Everyone's returns are going to be different, of course, as well. You'll get different questions, different states that you're working with, but you'll always have the same TurboTax Live professional network and resources to help you gain more knowledge. And working with different people from different areas really does help to expand your knowledge and expertise. So these are 3 of the key areas we see hires from. Again, partially to full-time retired, people who want to treat this as a side gig to earn more money, and people looking to expand their knowledge about taxes. If you fall into one of those categories, it definitely is the right spot for you. No matter what role you're in, we do offer some great benefits. I'll cover that quickly here. The 401k savings plan and Intuit matching program. So for every dollar you contribute, Intuit will contribute $1.25 to that, up to 6%. And you're vested on day 1. And if you come back year after year, they continue to match over and over for you as you continue to work through each season. We also have an employee stock purchase plan. It gives you the opportunity to buy stock at employee prices. If you're interested in stock, take a look at how we're doing. It is a great benefit here. We also have an employee assistance program and paid sick leave. You also get product discounts and a free copy of TurboTax Live. And all of these benefits are available to you, even if it's just the seasonal 4-month role that you're coming in for. You still have all these benefits available to you in these roles. All right, I'm going to stop talking here and I'm going to hand it over to my esteemed peer Imani, our TurboTax Live recruiter, who will be talking to you about the positions we have available and the qualifications for each. Over to you, Imani.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. And thank you all for joining us today. So let's take a look at the roles that we are hiring for. Of course, your recruiter will help you better understand each role and how your skills and your experience match up to the requirements of the role that you're interested in. So first, we have our tax prep assistant role, or TPA. Our TPAs, they're like our welcoming committee. They welcome the TurboTax Live customers, provide info on the different levels of service available, help gather key information and documents required for the service that they choose. Now, for that reason, our TPAs must have excellent customer service skills. And having a knack for both customer empathy and customer satisfaction is a definite plus. The TPA role also requires a minimum of 1 season of tax prep experience, which could include apprenticeships with licensed tax preparers, participation in the IRS's VITA program, and even multiple seasons preparing taxes for friends and family. Now, we're also hiring tax associates. Now, our tax associates have a minimum of 3 or more seasons of paid tax prep experience, a minimum of 30 or more returns prepared each season, and have an active preparer's tax identification number, or a PTIN. Our tax associates assist customers with their basic to complex tax questions using their knowledge of tax laws and concepts, along with tools and resources provided by Intuit to help our agents quickly and thoroughly research tax information. And if requested, our tax associates could also assist with the preparation and filing of 1040 returns. Now, just a side note for our tax associates that are interested in becoming an EA, Intuit's Pro Dev teams help our tax associates get their EA credentials by providing study materials, mentors, and financial assistance with the exam, all at no cost to you. Now, once you've successfully passed your EA exam and obtained the EA license from the IRS, you can then be considered for our credentialed tax expert role. Like our tax associate role, our tax expert role also requires a minimum of 3 or more seasons of paid tax prep experience, a minimum of 30 or more returns prepared each season, and an active PTIN. But our tax experts must also be a licensed and active CPA, EA, or a practicing attorney with a valid JD license. Now, keep in mind, the tax expert role doesn't only give tax advice, but they also provide tax filing services from start to finish when requested. So, in general, our tax prep assistant, our tax associate, and tax expert roles all share a few basic things. They're all seasoned and virtual customer-facing roles by phone or by video and require a commitment of 20 hours minimum per week. They all provide live tax advice. They research and answer tax questions and or fully prepare customer returns when requested. There's paid training and equipment is provided for each role. And because we offer TurboTax in Spanish, bilingual is a definite plus. Now, we're going to hear back from Thomas, who's going to conduct a quick poll. Thomas?
Let's make sure I'm off mute. Okay, so quick poll here. Just like Imani shared, we'd like to know what interests you most in being a tax professional. Here are the options. Is it earning extra income? Is it growing that tax expertise? Choosing a schedule that suits me? Working remotely with clients across 50 states? Receiving Intuit employee benefits? All of the above? Or I'm not sure if this opportunity is right for me. We'll wait till we have a good portion of responses and then we'll review. Give it another second here. All right, let's look at the results. This is fun. Boom. Usually happens this way, but all of the above definitely takes the cake here at 63% of responses. We had quite a few in all the others as well. So good job getting this answered. Good to see everyone's preferences on why they might be interested in working here. All right, with that, I'm going to hand it over to our real life TurboTax live professionals so you can hear about their experience on the job. First, we're going to kick it off with a quick video to introduce a day in the life of a TurboTax live expert.
All right, thank you, Thomas, and thank you, video. My name is Heather Beal. I am a manager one here at TurboTax Live. As Thomas said, I started about a little over 6 years ago. So I worked full-time at a CPA firm local to me, and there was we used ProConnect. So we got you want to work for TurboTax Live as a tax pro during season. Checked it out. Figured I'm on East Coast, as he had mentioned, I'm in Florida. Figured I could work my 8 to 6 job and then put my children to bed and then work until close. So I worked that from January through the middle of April. When we were, the end of season, I was done. Told my manager, I love this. This was awesome. Could you please let me know if there's any other opportunities? And one arose in July of the same year. Be on the interview team and continue as an expert for season. And did my math, as we all do, and I figured, hey, I get summers off, and I was making equal to or better income than I was at the tax firm that I was a tax manager at. So jumped, and then I was promoted to lead for a couple of seasons, and then I had the opportunity to be here full-time year-round. So this started as I'm category 2, as Thomas had mentioned. I called it my Uber with tax without having to drive, because I personally do not like to drive. And now it is my career. So I'm going to walk you guys through a typical day in the life of working here. As you know, this is remote. My commute is simply up the stairs into my loft office. So that's really nice compared to the little bit of the traffic that I used to have to handle. Turn on my computer and log in, check my emails. We have a system called IEP for our notifications. We use Slack as a communication tool. So look for messages from my manager. I have a manager too. We all go all the way up the chain. For my team, if I was an expert, I would check for my manager, see if there's anything going on. We post our questions that we ask for lead assistance with in Slack. I always check to see what kind of calls are coming in that day. Then I would go available to receive my contact. We do calls and chat. We use our tool called Smart Look. You probably see it on TV where you see the little expert in the commercials. That'll be you, but probably about this big. And you do your best, customer service and soft skills while talking to your client. As Thomas said, I never knew. I always go with the Forrest Gump box of chocolates. Here, never knew what was going to pop up when I answered that phone. So even though I walked in my first day, I've got almost 14 years experience or so. This will be a piece of cake. Well, that piece of cake was a whole lot of chocolates all over the country that I needed help with at times. We have some great tools here that we use We use the tax book online. We have the online resources. And as I mentioned earlier, we have Slack. There's leads in there. We mentioned leads a couple of times. Leads are folks that were formerly experts, high performers that are helping the experts like yourself help your clients. So you're not by yourself. Even though I'm in my loft most of the time by myself, I never feel alone. As a manager, we also have meetings with y'all. You see your manager face to face almost on a daily basis through a camera. But the support, you make your notes, you get off the phone with a client, you do your meetings with your manager, we meet one-to-one, and then you go available for your next contact. As Imani said, sometimes you'll be preparing returns. We do those on camera now with the client on the phone. So you're getting all types of calls all the time. When I was an expert, didn't get the preparation, we really evolved here. But then you get your next contact. Someone asked in the chat what kind of equipment you get. The equipment is all for you. You get your laptop, your webcam, your headsets. I'm not wearing the current ones that you guys have assigned to you, but you get that too. All you need, and they even send you a cord to connect to your modem for your hardwired internet connection. So you pretty much don't need anything but that hardwired internet connection. So it's fantastic. So next, as we mentioned, flexibility. This is my office. I mentioned it's in a loft. That window looks right over my front door, so I'm on the second floor. I can look down. That's a standing desk. You might see me standing up, sitting down. You never know when I'm on my course of my workday. I learned something, as I mentioned, almost 15 years experience when I started here, and I really got put in my place my first week, and I really learned so much. I learned more in that 4.5 months as an expert than I probably knew from the 14 years prior, not counting college. When are you going to get an expat on the phone? Don't get those a lot around here. Farmers, different states. I'm in a tax-free state, folks, and I hear there's a lot of apprehension with that. We have the tax book. We have all kinds of online resources. I had a lead that was from a state that we got a lot of calls about. It was great. Bounced ideas off them. Then I got a lot of research experience, which really helped grow my own practice. So if someone asks me in my personal practice, what about this? I can find the answer really fast based on my, with my experience here as an expert and a lead. You can be a research machine, I'll tell you. And just knowing more about the industry with the professions that you will deal with on your team, we always do. Like, how many years of experience does everybody on the team have? We normally end up with over 1,000 between my 30 plus members on my team and myself. There's there's a niche right there. And the flexibility with your schedule, I can block off my schedule even as a manager. I can coordinate my meetings and meet with a client. I do that often. I'll block off that I'm going to meet with a client. I went from a couple of clients to getting over 100, 150 now, just from word of mouth and the fact that I just bounced around a lot. And my clients used to meet me face to face when the world kind of stopped and we were all inside. I didn't have to worry about teaching myself how to go virtual, teaching myself how to share documents, all of that. I went pretty much paperless. Even those who didn't really want to be paperless, I convinced them during COVID. And the flexibility allows me to not only grow my practice, but to go with my family's schedule as well. We're really huge proponents of the work-life balance here. But I'm going to go back to Slack, your main communication tool, right at your fingertips. Speaking of our community and our fingertips, our next slide, it shows our huge expert community. It provides a strong sense of belonging with a personalized platform for our experts to connect. It's focused on creating relationships that you ever run into somebody that you've worked with from here, it's not like you've always seen them from here on up in a camera. We have events on there. Once you're onboarded, you will have access to that. We see chats, we see all that. Imani touched upon the Enrolled Agent Credential Assistance Program. We're currently doing a 100-day challenge with some mentors and such. I'm one of the mentors, so I'm helping around 20 people get their enrolled agent certificate, enrolled agent license in 100 days. We also have our QuickBooks Advisor Pro Advisor program, and we also have continuing education offerings. Get a discount from CPA Academy, and it's fantastic. You can keep your license if you already have it, get you all your CE credits. But most importantly, we use it to foster the sense of community that fosters the family environment within our robust body. Some tips. The variety of issues, I've already touched upon it, will build your knowledge and skill more than you could ever imagine. If anybody ever asks me, if you ever find me on LinkedIn, you'll see me saying, I've learned so much with real life experience. There is great satisfaction in helping people complete their returns. I worked in, I always call them brick and mortars for years before I came here. You really feel like you're helping people out on a day-by-day basis with their issues. They're not calling because they want to chat. They're calling because they need help. And it's so satisfying to say, did I resolve your issue today? And they're like, yes. And you're like, yeah, another one. Yes, I helped somebody else today. When you're working at I'm not degrading, I have my own firm, but it's just so gratifying to help people day by day. And it is only after you start with Intuit that you really do realize the breadth of the opportunity for career growth. I'm just one example. I can probably put another 70 some managers that started the same, probably more like 80 or 100. I don't know the ramp plan just yet, but so many people that can give you their story, people that are in the jobs they love, their flexibility, and everything that you can set for yourself. Mentioned earlier, you don't have a tax credential, you don't have your enrolled agent, CPA, tax attorney, we'll support you in your efforts to obtain the enrolled agent credential from the Internal Revenue Service, and that'll give you more opportunities for growth and pay it into it. So hopefully these tips help too. I'm going to pass it back over to Imani.
And thank you, Heather. Appreciate that. All right, so let's dive into how you join our team step by step. So once you have applied for the role that interests you, you're going to be connected to a recruiter who is going to schedule time to do a phone screen with you. Your recruiter is going to go through some basic screening questions just to help confirm that you are qualified for the role that you've applied for, and if not, discuss alternative roles if they're available. So your recruiter will also share info on paid training, competitive pay rates, which, by the way, do take into consideration your skills and your experience, but are also regionally driven based on the state that you live and work in during the tax season. Your recruiter will also let you know about our end of season performance bonus, which differs based on the role that you are hired for. Finally, they will go over our hours of operation, technical requirements, and answer any questions you may have before moving on to next steps. Now, if you meet all qualifications for the role that you've applied for and you're still interested in moving forward, your recruiter will request a digital interview link be sent to you from HireView, our digital interview team. Now, our interview process takes about 60 to 70 minutes, and it consists of a handful of video questions and several multiple choice questions that are open book. So be encouraged to use resources that you're familiar with, and along with a few recommendations that you'll get from the team. And the best part is you can complete your entire interview in the comfort of your own home or office and when it's most convenient for you. Now, once you've submitted your digital interview, it will be evaluated by our hiring managers, and usually within a week or so, your recruiter will hopefully receive successful results of your interview and reach out to you with a verbal offer, at which time your recruiter will confirm your pay rate again and end of season bonus potential, season start and end dates, as well as our training program and all other tasks that are going to be needed to get your onboarding started. Now, if you accept your verbal offer, You will be connected to a coordinator who will send a link to you from HireRight to initiate a background check. Then once your background check is submitted, we'll send you an offer letter for your review and signatures through DocuSign. Now, there will be a few other onboarding tasks required by Intuit. You'll have to successfully pass an internet speed test, which confirms that your internet line meets the requirement of uploads and download speed for the role. A couple things to also keep in mind: your internet line must be hardwired, and we do not allow the use of hotspots, cell phones, or even satellite internet to perform these roles. We will also request a copy of your active PTIN for both the tax associate and tax expert roles. And for our tax experts, a credential verification will also be conducted by HireRight during your background check process. And one last thing to remember, agents must already have or be able to obtain any related licenses, certificates, permits, or even bonds required by your state. Now, as soon as all of the required tasks have been successfully completed, you will finalize your onboarding and receive an email with access to the Intuit Expert Portal, where you will complete your new hire paperwork, complete I-9 requests, create your work schedule based on hours of operation during the tax season, which is 7 days a week, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. Please keep in mind that your work schedule must be a minimum of 20 hours per week and will be created in 4-hour increments. Finally, we'll confirm your shipping address for the equipment that will arrive on or around your start date. As a reminder, agents receive a laptop, camera, and headsets for the use of the role. Your designated seasonal manager will reach out to you before you start just to confirm your training information, which is 10 days of paid training that includes a mix of online module training plus some live training, both that you'll be able to fit into your busy schedule once your training is completed. New agents go live and are ready to start assisting our TurboTax Live customers. Now, I'd like to give you a few tips to help you prepare for your phone screen with your recruiter and a successful interview using HireView. So once you've applied, be prepared to hear from your recruiter at any time, of course, during business hours, or feel free to schedule a call using the candidate portal invite that you'll receive when you apply. If possible, send your most recent resume to your recruiter for review in preparation for your phone screen. Now, if all goes well and you do move forward with your screening, be prepared to conduct your digital interview within 24 to 48 hours of your phone screen. Now, once you receive your HireView link, set aside at least 90 minutes in a quiet location, free from any possible distractions. Make sure you're using a hardwired desktop or laptop with audio and video capabilities. Feel free to use resources that you're familiar with, books, notes, or even the internet. You just cannot use any human assistance. Take advantage of the practice questions available and be prepared to explain your answers when needed. And finally, remember that this is an interview. So be professional, project your stellar customer service skills, and enjoy your experience. Next slide, please. So you guys have heard a lot about Intuit today. You've heard about who we are, you've heard about our mission and our benefits to working here, as well as the journey of our tax expert, Heather, and then from me, your recruiter, on the roles available, the requirements of each role, the recruitment process you'll have to follow to hopefully becoming a part of the TurboTax Live team. But before I hand the mic back to Thomas to conclude today's webinar, I'd like to take a couple more minutes to let you know about a new training program we offer to tax professionals like yourselves who are interested in additional training to further stand out from the crowd when applying for the roles on the TurboTax Live team. We offer the perfect opportunity for you to do this through Intuit Academy. Our online training program is a one-stop shop for all things related to learning and growing your tax career. It is designed with a community-first approach, not to mention the platform is highly interactive, and you can take our courses and exams at your own pace. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what are the key incentives that the Intuit Academy offers besides being free, of course? Well, first of all, you don't need prior experience to take these courses. As you know, in today's job market, not having enough experience can be a tough hurdle to cross. The Intuit Academy can serve as a great starting point for you to get comfortable with the tax industry in general so that you can learn it at your own pace and take the exams on a schedule that works for you. Second, if you do have prior tax experience, you are way ahead of the curve. You can either take the course or skip the course and go straight to the exam to showcase your knowledge. These courses can also serve as a refresher for those of you who already have a lot of tax experience. Third, either way, once you take and pass the exam, you'll earn your Intuit Academy badge with help that helps you stand out for jobs, such as your TurboTax Live roles here at Intuit. So if you're interested, please do enroll for the Intuit Academy so you can get started on your journey and stand out for the job that you want with us here at Intuit. Now I'm going to end here and pass it back to Thomas so that he can wrap things up.
All right, thank you so much for running through all of that, Imani, and then of course Heather before that. So thank you all for attending our webinar today. If you do have any last minute questions, please go ahead and add them into the chat now or the Q&A box. If you have not already, feel free to scan that QR code and apply today to become a part of our TurboTax Live professional network. And now that there are some of you that have already applied, but maybe you haven't heard back from your recruiter, please go ahead and add your name and email into the chat, and we'll be sure to check on your status with our recruiters here. A survey link will also be added into the chat. So please do provide some feedback before you leave today. We'd love to hear from you on how we did today. We answered all your questions for you, of course. Before we do close out, help to clear any remaining concerns or questions you might still have. All right, let's get started on these. So one question we get a lot. United States, US territories are not included here. Oops, it says I disconnected. Are you able to hear me still? Okay.
Yep.
All right. If you're planning to live abroad in the UK and help experts, for example, in the UK, I should say, is that an option? And no, our roles are solely US based here and in Canada. Is there a minimum work hours to get qualified for benefits? I'll let you know we're looking for agents that can work that minimum of 20 hours per week. We do not offer medical, dental, vision, but do offer participation in our 401k plan and discounts, of course, on various Intuit tax software. Another question, is this a year-round role? And no, this is a seasonal role. And the months of work would, of course, be during tax season from January through April. Are there any resources provided or help if you need it? Yes, yes, yes. We provide the tax book. And of course, you will have your team here and your colleagues to help you. Much going back to what Heather mentioned. Do you have to provide your own equipment? No, Intuit will actually provide you with everything. We'll ship you your laptop, the camera, and more. We do ask again that you provide that hardwired high-speed internet, and eventually in the hiring process, you have to successfully complete an internet speed test. Another question, will you go through training? And yes, there will be about 10 days of paid training. It's a mixture of self-led training and some live sessions, which do have some different time slots here. Last couple questions. For those who are associates, are they self-employed or employees of Intuit? And I'll let you know this is a seasonal W-2 role. Final question. Hey, what is the pay for these roles? I'll let you know pay is based on the state you reside and work in. And there's also an end of season performance bonus here as well. All right, so thank you all for your time once again. Please remember to take the survey if you haven't already. And thank you. Hope your week's going well. Hope the end of the week's going well. And you do have some time to apply to come work with us here on the TurboTax Live team.